limiting your choices. Like I've heard of people that have a limited wardrobe.
Yes.
Or like limited things that they eat
Yeah.
or limited jewelry. What are your thoughts on that?
So my thoughts probably don't align with what I actually have in my house right now because I'm on a journey myself of really decluttering. And I actually and absolutely love this question that you just asked. Was it Steve Jobs that always wore a
Yeah.
black t-shirt and jeans, right? So he didn't have to choose in the morning. I really do think there is a lot of power in that concept. I'm not someone who wants to wear the same thing every day, but I have been getting rid of an awful lot of clothing that is my closet. I just pulled out a whole bunch of stuff last night and left it on a bed because my nieces are coming up to visit. I'm like, go to town, because it really does bog you down. If you have 1,000 books on your shelf, trying to choose the one you're going to read is very difficult. If you have 5 jewelry dressers full, or those big standing things, it is very difficult to make a choice. And I do think that the truth is we tend to be pulled to navigate to a few things anyway. And if we are constantly faced with a choice of, oh gosh, I have 100 necklaces, which one should I wear today? That will wear you down. We have so much energy in a day, brain power. And if we're constantly making those choices on things that don't matter, they're not things that are pushing the needle forward in our lives, in our businesses, in our relationships, we don't have the brain power, we don't have the bandwidth to make those more important choices. So I do think there is a ton of truth and power in that concept. I'm not sure I could ever live a truly minimalist life, but I do know that I feel empowered every time I get rid of yet another pile of too much of one thing. Jewelry was one of the, it's interesting you brought that up because that is one of the things that I recently went through the years as I have lost family members and close friends. I'm always the one that inherited all the jewelry because I love jewelry. And I found myself literally with 3 big of those standing jewelry chests, and then stuff on the walls, that I put boards on the wall and I hung all this jewelry. And I did find myself taking a crazy amount of time in the morning trying to pick out which jewelry matched perfectly. And then I realized I was wearing the same stuff all the time because they were my favorites. And so I started to give away just give away things because I can't wear it all.
Yeah.
And as much as I enjoy jewelry, I literally had enough to wear something different every day for probably a year and a half. That's ridiculous. That's crazy. So yes, I do believe that there is a lot of truth in that. If we save our brain power for the more important choices, it's why I will cook. If I There's only 2 of us in the house, but if I make fish, I'm making a pan so that I don't have to cook for 3 more nights because I
Yeah.
don't have to think about it.
Exactly.
I don't have to think about it. What are we having for dinner tonight? Well, what's in the fridge? Go on in there and choose. There's 2 different kinds of fish. We made a bunch, or a
Yeah.
huge pot of beans, and we do that on purpose. So I love that question. Love it.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely do that with food, the leftovers. People don't necessarily recognize the heaviness on whoever's in charge of the meals,
Yes.
because it's not just making the meal. It's like you have to do the grocery shop. You have to like
Yes.
figure out what you want, do the grocery shopping for the correct stuff, then figure out what day you're going to be eating it, then
Yeah.
make the thing and make sure it's like put on the stove or oven correctly so that it all gets done around approximately the same time.
Yep.
This whole thing that you have to do that
Oh,
people don't necessarily recognize. It's not just making food. It's like a whole thing.
it is a whole thing.
Yeah.
It absolutely is. And there's a bag of kidney beans up on my counter right now. My husband this morning picked them up. He goes, "What's this for?" I said, "Well, because I'm going to make chili this weekend. It's the beginning of my thought process. If I put the beans there, I'll remember. But I'm going to make enough for the entire week because we will eat it the entire week, and then I don't have to. I can release my brain from
Yeah.
that. I want to make choices on how I can pour into people. Who can I serve today? Those are the things that are truly important to me. And nutrition is also important to me, but it's not something that I want to think about 24/7. There
Yeah.
are other things I want on my table ahead
Yeah.
of that.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. There was a few things that I've done in my life with that. Makeup is one of them.
Oh, yes.
Totally just minimum. Because again, the same thing that you said with the jewelry, like you only really wear a certain amount, but then you have these other colors and stuff. You're like, you're gonna wear someday.
Yeah.
But then when you really think about it, I actually did this thing that Oprah said, which granted, Oprah's been gone for a long time, so this goes to show you how long I've been doing this. Um, she said to turn all of your hangers backwards in your closet for an entire year. Have you heard that?
Yeah, keep going. I love this because I've
For, for,
forgotten.
for an entire year. And then after a year, like put a date somewhere. And then after a year, whatever hangers are still backwards, you didn't wear them for the full season.
Yes.
So more than likely you can get rid of that stuff. So I did a very similar thing with my makeup is I had two different areas. I had like my caboodle. Remember the caboodle?
Yes. Look a
Of
boodle.
like makeup. And I started to take the stuff out that I wear often and I would transfer it from my caboodle into a drawer, like my makeup drawer.
Yes.
And whatever was left in the caboodle after a certain amount of time, like let's say 6 months, 8 months, whatever it was, just recognizing I wasn't wearing, I just got rid of it.
Yes.
And now it's just like it's a nice little area in my drawer that's like super small. It's not like 6 caboodles with like
Yes.
lipsticks and highlighters and eyeshadow and all this stuff. And it just makes it so much easier.
Yes. Yes. It's one of the things, it is literally on my calendar for tomorrow, is to go through all of the makeup. I literally have probably 40 eyeshadow palettes I haven't touched. And
Yeah.
they're beautiful. And the thing is, Sabrina, is that somebody is blessed by these things. The things that you can share. I realize some things you have to just toss, but the things you can share, somebody else really wants them. Somebody else really would use those things. I bought palettes with these super bright colors. I don't even know what I was thinking. I'm never wearing them. I've never even touched them,
Wow.
but
Yeah.
they looked so pretty. They were so colorful. It's like
Yeah.
a squirrel moment. And so yes, it does make life so much easier. And I started doing something just like that. When I got home from my last trip, I put my makeup bag that I took on the trip next to my sink. And I have challenged myself to use just that. And it has been absolutely a mind blower to me that I have not even had wanted to go to the big vanity stuffed full of makeup. So it's all gone. I wrote it down. It's just gone. If I didn't need it in the last 2 weeks, I don't need it.